Hi, I'm Jill Arrington, and welcome to our Week 7 NFL preview brought to you by Miller 64 to love, sweat, and beers. I'm pleased to be joined by FoxSports.com NFL analyst Curtis Conway. Curtis, RG3 may have his toughest task of the season facing the Giants' front four. They will be after him. What do you think makes them so good, and what does he need to focus on to have some success against them?
Well, I think his focus is going to be on the other side, on offense of the Giants, and that's with Eli Manning. You know, the difference is Eli Manning, they can put up points, and when they're putting up points, the Redskins can find themselves coming from behind to try to win a football game, and the last thing you want to do is try to come from behind going against that Giants defensive front. So a little different than last week against Minnesota, where Ponder and that offense, you know, not as explosive as the Giants are on offense. But this week, again, you got an offense that can put points up. And if RG's dropping back more than 22 times, trust me, the G-men, they will get to him.
All right, well, let's get a prediction. Curtis, do you think the Giants can keep the momentum after such a big win at San Francisco?
You know, that's funny. I was thinking about that, and I was saying anytime you go into a big game like they had last week against the 49ers, you put so much energy into that game, and then you come back with a victory. Right. You almost let your hair down a little bit and say, you know what, let's get back to basics versus really focusing. Washington can be sneaky, and the Giants, they play well on the road, not as good at home, but I like the Eli Manning factor. I have to go with the Giants.
All right, there you have it. Next up, we've got the Cardinals and Vikings. Kevin Cobb's out this weekend. John Skelton is back in. Is the inconsistency at the quarterback position hurting this Cardinals offense?
Absolutely, Jill. I mean, it'll hurt any offense. And me being a wide receiver, when you have a different quarterback in, the ball comes a little different. Some quarterbacks, they will take chances. Some won't. So when you have that inconsistency with your leader at quarterback, you're going to have some times where you kind of question yourself, you're not as confident, and you may want the other guy in. Right. This defense has been playing great. If the offense can ever get some consistency at quarterback, this can be a really good team to be looking forward to in the playoffs.
Might be the only way they can really find a rhythm with all their weapons. Now, Christian Ponder was sacked 4 times last week against Washington. Can Minnesota keep Christian upright this time?
I think they can. They have to look at what the Bills did. The Bills ran for 165 yards against that defense. So instead of Christian Ponder dropping back, I'm going to give it to one of the best backs in the league, and Adrian Peterson, and let him try to run. Let him try to run wild, set up some play action, keep the defense honest. I think if they do that, Ponder will stay upright.
All right, Curtis, who do you like in this one?
Woo! I'm going to go Vikings. I like that NFC North. They're playing good football right now.
All right. Next up, everyone knows what Ray Lewis brings emotionally to his team. But let me ask you this. Who do you think the Ravens are going to miss most on the field, Lewis or Ladarius Webb?
You know, I think it's without a question Ray Lewis. You know, everybody's talking about Ray Lewis, and his play has diminished a little bit. But when you have that type of emotional leader out there on the field, it's almost like your comfort blanket. Right. When something goes wrong, you can look to Ray. Anytime something is going on the field on defense, you can look to Ray. When that presence is not there, who's going to take over and be that leader? Not just emotional, but the one that you can go to and say, man, look, we made a mistake on this. What happened? What do we need to do? Trust me, Ray Lewis is more than just a player out there. He's a coach. He's an inspiration. He's everything to that defense.
Will be sorely missed out there. Now, Arian Foster held under 30 yards rushing last week against the Packers. Are you expecting a bounce-back game this week?
I think so. I mean, you know, they got dominated in the run game last week, and that's what they pride themselves on offensively, is running the football. The play-action pass works off of them running the football. That's a huge part of who the Texans are. So if they can get back on track, and I know they're putting a lot of emphasis on getting better in the running game, and I know that doesn't sound right, but they didn't run the ball as well last week. Trust me, they're going to put a lot of emphasis on it this week.
Well, do you think that the Texans bounce back after this first loss?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a really good football team. I think with Brian Cushing being absent on defense, they had to try to figure out that position, who's going to be the guy. So 2 weeks into it, I think they'll do better. I'm going Texans.
Yeah, sometimes a loss can really motivate you to come out on fire. Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to do it for our Week 7 NFL preview brought to you by Miller 64 to love, sweat, and beers. For Curtis Conway, I'm Jill Arrington. We'll see you next time.